to better role performance, both professionally and personally, and ultimately driven the spirit and spread happiness. He's a teacher by passion, and he brings a wealth of knowledge, experience, and insight that has significantly contributed to the field of social work, HR, and mental health. With an impressive background in the field of social work, clinical psychology, and law, Mr. Suneel has made a lasting impact on countless lives through their dedication to understanding and addressing the complexities of the human mind. He firmly believes that values are costly. Never cost the values. And respecting, accepting, and understanding other develops strong bonds of mutual trust, which is necessary for stress-free life. Founder of Sambandh Consultation Services in Vadodara, a principal management consultant and mentor, trainer and counselor, Vadodara, Gujarat, based HR and social work practitioner, associated with all types of industries, academic institutes, multi-specialty hospitals, NGOs as mentor and HR guide and QMS guide. As a practicing counselor, his areas of expertise are martially counseling, adolescent counseling, training on responsible parenting, emotional health, personality concerns, as well as crisis intervention. He graduated in commerce and mainly honors in economics, MSW, LLB, PG diploma in clinical and community psychology, lead auditor for management systems, founder member of Mark Counseling Center, MS University of Vadodara, associated with MS University to teach PG courses of MHRM as well as guidance and counseling. So, without further ado, please join me in extending a warm and enthusiastic welcome to the podium Mr. Suneel Karkare, Chief Consultant, Management Systems and Training. Today, his topic will be on balancing relationship at work.
It took 44 years to come to HR Padaav. That shows the dignity and the level HR Padaav has. First of all, thanks to organizers Mr. Vijay Kumar and Suneel for wonderful organizing of this activity and initiative. It has a lot of philosophy, and I am convinced with that philosophy, so I am here. And all award winners. When I was seeing them winning awards, I was remembering my days, that how was my beginning in field. And I'm proud that they are doing all strategic work, so goal-oriented work. So congrats to all of you. It's wonderful to be here. Today, I'm going to speak something on different and important topic called importance of balancing relationship at workplace. And this topic, when we decided that why this topic, I had some thought that relationship is a major issue we have. This is my consultation service. My name of my consultation service is Sambandh. And my logo indicates that if you relate locally, you relate globally. So managing relationship is very important. And I've been working in this field for last 44 years. And many activities I have done. Primarily I am a teacher, and then all other titles. Relationship and balancing relationship. Normally we don't give much attention on relationship. We feel it as a bad product. But in HR, especially and in every field, relationship management is a skill and a major competence. Here, if you see at workplace, balancing relationship is a major issue. As a mentor of the companies, majority of the problem I face, root cause of frustration is relationship. And therefore, so at workplace, majority of the issues like frustration, unhappiness, stress, hopelessness, all come from failure to manage relationship. I have been associated with many companies in different capacities. One important role I play is a counselor. Capacity building of people as a counselor. I have seen that relationship management is a major factor attributed to attrition. People leave boss, they don't leave company. And boss fails to relate with people. For me, HR is not human resource. I call it as human responsibility. You are accountable, you are responsible. And therefore this topic becomes very important. When we see about our relationship, there are many aspects of relationship management. We play so many roles, we have so many relationships. And for every relationship, in every management role, junior role, senior role, managing relationship is a major competence. Whenever I conduct interviews, I just see that how the person is emotionally balanced to balance relationship. Because relationship management, we mix up with emotional involvement. And emotional involvement is not necessarily relationship management. We have to manage emotions to manage relationship. So this is important competence for us. So at workplace, we have different sources of stress. Relationship, workload, then role management. Among this, all stress, responsibility is not clear, job satisfaction is not known, home and work interface. They are the 6 major sources of stress in industry. And among that, the most important factor is relationship management. Number 1 stressor. I have a tool which I assess for people for their relationship things. Relationship management becomes very important. So balancing relationship is a success factor for leadership. Whenever people have that concept, घर जैसे relationship, I disagree with that. कि घर जैसे relationship घर पे रखो. सबके साथ घर करोगे तो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम हो जाएगा. अपने घर के लिए टाइम नहीं मिलेगा. So balancing relationship is important. So this is important factor. So we have 2 types of people. Now you have to see which category do you belong. One, some they cause happiness wherever they go. जहाँ भी जाते हैं खुशियाँ फैलाते हैं. और दूसरी कैटेगरी है some cause happiness wherever they go. जब चाहते हैं और जब निकल जाते हैं. Now ये जो कैटेगरी ऑफ पीपल है, you have to see हम कहाँ पर हैं. And both conditions depend on your relationship management skills. Do you spread happiness, or do you, when you go, or you after you leave? So this is importance of relationship management. When it comes to relationship, we just try to understand the concept of relationship. That relationship is connection, association, involvement between 2 people, and it can be because of different roles. On an average, we play 8 to 9 roles in a day. We are not conscious. Each role demands relationship, and therefore we need to have boundaries of relationship. Every relationship is not the same way. So relationship involves emotions, but managing emotions is managing relationship, and therefore this topic. So it can be of many types of relationship. Today I will be speaking here only on the context of workplace relationship. Next please. Next. Here at work we have relationship with our manager, with our peer, with our subordinate, and everywhere if you see, the moment you say he is my boss, he is my assistant, we have unwritten prescription of relationship boundaries. and we are not conscious about those boundaries. We mix up the boundaries. Therefore, boss looks like a father, assistant looks like a child. That is wrong. And therefore, this topic is important. Next. Now, how the relationship develops. First, we are distant. Then, it is interview, you are interviewed. Then, it is induction program begins. You become close. You become closer. You become, if you do not manage yourself when you are closer, the relationship is closed. And again, the result is you are distant. And that is the crux of balancing relationship. That you should know how to manage, how to balance relationship. Next. Here in personal life, in relationship management, there is one concept of blink, that you feel that yes, this is my person. Their relationship begins. Again, there also you need to have the same cycle. Close, closer, and if you become too close, it becomes closure. In my marriage counseling work, this too close becomes a closure problem. There is no boundary. Every relationship requires space. Next. Change the slide. Next. Now, the important concept about relationship is every relationship is relative. हर एक संबंध सापेक्ष है और ये रिलेटिविटी इसलिए हम रिलेटिव्स को रिलेटिव बोलते हैं. They are not continuous. Now, relativity is guided by these four aspects. There is aspect of injustice, injury, intention and invasion. ये जो चार बातें हैं, तो why people become difficult, उसके एक कारण है. I'll explain you in next slide. Next. So, in company, pre-appraisal and post-appraisal, relationship is always the issue. Maximum resignations are in the month of May and June after appraisal. Before appraisal, the environment is, please click. Everyone feels there is justice in our company, people, management is carrying us. Then we see that we are included in decision making and management has good intention for the people. The moment appraisal is announced, then what happens? There is no justice in the company. Then it is injury, someone is deliberately insulting us, there is invasion in my territory, and then we feel there is grudge. The जानबूझ के ऐसा किया है. So relationship changes. And there comes the challenge, how to balance relationship, how to communicate these things. You cannot please everyone. So when this relativity is a concept, it is important for us to understand what is the importance of balancing the relationship. So going ahead with that, this is the challenge. This is a very good Sanskrit saying, Ati Parichaya Davadnya. This is I like very much for relationship management, that when you become too close, it is avadnya. इसमें अपने शास्त्रों में बहुत अच्छा एक श्लोक है ये, अति परिचयात् अवज्ञा संतत गमनात् अनादरा भवति मलय विल्ली पुरंद्री चंदन तस्त इंधनम कुरुस्ते. मलयगिरी में चंदन का वन बोला जाता है, तो चंदन की जो लकड़ी होती है, तो वहाँ की जो बिल रहने वाले हैं वो उसको जलाऊ लकड़ी की तरह यूज करते हैं, बिकॉज वो बहुत ही अवेलेबल है. सो अति परिचयात् अवज्ञा. Don't be so close that people get irritated for you. That is first important thing for us. In HR especially, it is very important because we feel we are extending help. So extending help does not mean getting involved. That is very important thing. Next. Now, when the relationship is not balanced, what happens? Why it happens? There are two aspects: relationship contamination and relationship encroachment. These are the common workplace relationship problem. Relationship contamination and relationship encroachment, they are clinically, or in theory we call it transference and counter-transference. So this is important development in workplace. I'll explain you what does it mean, that what happens in relationship contamination. Next please. In relationship contamination, it is mixing up personal and professional role, and normally it is more of emotions and it is bilateral. मेरे बेटे जैसा, मेरे पिताजी जैसे, all those things. So this is relationship contamination. You cease to feel what you are. So if someone calls you that you are like my father, or you are like my elder brother, and you have to terminate him, you will find it very difficult. He calls me brother, how do I terminate him? We encourage because we never say, don't call me your brother, I am your colleague. Balancing relationship is very important. So, in encroachment, it is from the senior person to junior person. I am like you. I am your rescuer. मैं तेरे भले के लिए कहता हूँ, वगैरह वगैरह. Unnecessarily encroaching. And these two things are stressful. And we have to be very balancing relationship with. Don't allow your relationship to contaminate. Don't encroach anyone's relationship. Don't go and force that I am there for you. Don't do that. Next. These are all unhealthy, not required at workplace. So this happens with anyone. Now I'll just show you some symptoms. That what does it mean that relationship is contaminated or it is encroached. Some of the symptoms change. Next. First, undue closeness, emotional and social. Unnecessarily you show closeness. थोड़ा सा जुकाम हुआ है तो आईसीयू में हो इतना उसका केयर करना. That is beginning of relationship contamination. जुकाम है और घर छुट्टी पर जाता है तो शाम को फोन करना, दवाइयाँ ली कि नहीं, रात को फोन करना, दवाइयाँ ली कि नहीं. This is not required. This is beginning of relationship contamination. Next, unnecessarily undue personal phone calls during and after office working hours, weekly off, holidays. You are not off from that person. That means your relationship is not balanced. You are encroaching someone. That is a symptom. Next, calling for long duration. If it is one way, you feel there are people, I have seen someone who has that contamination problem. He keeps the phone away like this. He doesn't stop. But that is dangerous. Long duration calls, which is you feel there is no point. That is beginning of relationship imbalance. Next. This is in company you see it naming the person differently. Naming it creatively something different. You feel that what is this? But they understand what does it mean. That is beginning of contamination. And calling them publicly in the TV. Especially in canteen and in parking area, people use those titles to show that closeness. And that is relationship contamination, imbalanced relationship. Next. Frequent tea coffee break. They always, you see them together and they are talking something which is of no meaning. And frequent breaks. Going for tea break is okay, but frequent breaks. That is relationship contamination. And people throw tantrums. कि मुझे चाय पीना है, आप नहीं आऊँगा तो मैं चाय बिना रह जाऊँगा. So they use emotions. And that is contamination. That is not a healthy indication. Then, naming the relationship I told you, just click. Then here, lunch and tea breaks. That is first indication. If you don't come, I will not eat. If you don't come for tea, I will not eat. It is encroaching someone's relationship. And that is very dangerous. It should not be done. Next. Sitting together after office hours. And this is not male-female. It can be male-male, female-female. This is all contamination of relationship. Just continue. Then when there is encroachment, there is indication of a simple good morning is not said. The person feels I am avoided. It feels that it is too much disgusting for me. Next is when there is encroachment, a person feels irritable. And irritation is indicated first on face. That you try that I am cutting a joke and person feels what is this? And that is the beginning that you are encroaching the person. Next. This is height of encroachment, ignoring publicly. In public programs, public things, the person doesn't acknowledge your presence. That means you have imbalanced relationship. Indifferent response to request. If you say come for tea, the person doesn't respond. Block the phone. These days, this is the major indication that you are not wanted. block the phone and keep some different tone. See, one person had done a very mischievous thing. Someone he disliked, and that person used to call him continuously. So he put a dial tone. He used to call every day 6:30 in the morning. So for a few minutes, half an hour, he put a dial tone that वो अभी नहीं रहे, he is no more. And जैसे उन्होंने कॉल किया, he received that message, he is no more. He thought कि he will not pick up the phone. He came in a car to his place. तो बोला इससे तो फोन पर बात कर लेता तो अच्छा होता. तो 6:30 बजे घर आ गया. So it is very difficult to see that how the relationship get enclosed. There are undue favors, which is not required. You feel कि इसकी जरूरत नहीं थी. That means there is some issue in relationship management. Undue advising and caring. See, simple चीज होती है. जुकाम होता है तो जैसे कि you go to some senior physician. And they don't call it, उसको जुकाम नहीं बोलते, उसको बोलते he is suffering from rhinitis. तो ऐसा बड़ी बीमारी कर देते. It is not required. Next, then passing emotionally colored statements, all those things, just click. Now, for balancing relationship, we have to remember relationship boundaries. Very important thing. Physical boundary, you should know how much distance I should maintain to talk to a person. Social distance, and most important, emotional distance. We should be very conscious that what is my role and what distance I should maintain. That is important crux of balancing relationship. So, just next. I have designed 5 questions. So whenever you are talking to anyone, and when you want to judge what level of relationship I should have, so ask that question in context with that person. I'll just show you those 3 questions. Next. Yes. The first, I can ask any question. जब आपको लगता है I can ask any question, you are very close. I can ask selected question. And I can ask question when it is needed. Then comes, I should not ask question. And then comes, I am not supposed to ask any question. If your answer comes yes, you should know what balance I should maintain, where I should be. I can ask any question means I am close to anyone. In industry, you should not be asking any question to anyone. I can ask selected question. That should be the boundary of relationship. That is very important thing. Yes, change. So these are the ways our relationship changes. I'm not supposed to ask questions. Then you go on up to I can ask any question, and then relationship contamination begins. Therefore, it is important to balance relationship. Now, why to balance relationship? Because first important thing is at work culture, it is very important for us to balance relationship to make the place ideal place to work. When relationships are contaminated, no one likes to work with you. If there is no relationship, if there is no encroachment and no contamination, there will be always good interaction with people. There will be good relationship, and self-respect and acceptance needs will get managed. And people will feel good that this is the right place to work. There is no encroachment. That is important thing for us. Now, for relationship, we have this bias. Our relationship is biased by these considerations. Gender bias. Very important thing. In our Indian context, gender bias is very, very severe thing for relationship balancing. Then age bias, senior, junior. Culture bias, कहाँ से आया है? Our relationship gets biased by this. Education bias, highly educated, not educated, and designation. At workplace, designation bias is very important. Senior, junior is very important. And that induces relationship contamination. So, when it comes to manage your relationship, you just have to ask this question next. When it is, I can ask any question, you are very close. At workplace, this is not desired. Otherwise, you are contaminating relationship. I should not ask question means To everyone, you are not an authority to ask questions. Next comes that I can ask questions when it is needed. See, when you are in a meeting, when you are interdepartmental meeting, you are presenting something, you should be in this category. Then there is next is, I am not supposed to ask questions. When it is not your subject, when you are just invited and you are not supposed to participate, don't ask any questions. If you manage these questions, you will be able to handle relationship well. I'll tell you further more thing, that if you are within boundaries, if you balance your relationship, what happens? The first, you command respect. People respect you. Next, there is no communication failure. There is no misunderstanding. There is no communication failure. It promotes security. No one feels कि अभी कोई आके encroach करेगा. Then this nurtures mutual trust, which is required at workplace. Then it is a base for long-term relationship, and it is essential for healthy teamwork. This is very important for being in relationship boundaries, and then it causes good relationship boundaries of relationship. Now, if it is not managed, what happens? First, it invites disrespect. If you are not balancing your relationship, you invite insults. Then there is no communication. It becomes ambiguous. You don't understand what the person wants to say because your relationship is imbalanced. Then it invites irritability, and you may get avoidance, that people don't want to talk to you. Next is, you feel it prevents bonding. You don't develop ownership of that relationship. So these are some of the indications that if you don't manage your relationship, this happens in your relationship. One next. Now, at workplace, how to balance relationship? First, be clear of your job role, authority and responsibility. HR always defines job role, authority very well. Always be clear about responsibility and accountability. We speak about responsibility. Be conscious about accountability. That will automatically bring balance of relationship. Consciously control emotional responses. See, response and reaction, you must understand that response comes from head and reactions come from heart. So balancing head and heart is the secret of balancing relationship. So when you are supposed to respond, don't react. And always use mindful language. Your language is important for all balancing relationship. And when it is balancing relationship, it is not only for seniors or juniors. Everyone is equally responsible for balancing relationship. And therefore, the moment you realize that you have violated the boundaries, you stop there, come back and acknowledge that this was not my intention. Don't go ahead. Don't work with assumptions. And therefore, you develop assertiveness skill. Now when it comes to assertiveness skill, assertiveness is not being authoritarian. Or assertiveness is saying no without hurting others. So develop that skill to manage relationship. So next, ultimately it is all about balancing, and it requires conscious efforts. In spite of all efforts, if you feel that I am unable to manage relationship, you should seek professional help, because it requires managing emotion, head and heart balance, and seek a personal counseling from some qualified counselor. It is not by reading you don't develop emotional balance. So this is all from me. So all the best for becoming good relationship manager. And this was a small attempt, and a teacher speaking 45 minutes is my conditioning, and completing in 15 minutes is a challenge for me. But they have put me to a challenge. But I hope I could reach you. Thank you very much, and be a good relationship manager. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And though the session was slightly long, but sir has given very deep insights. Sir, please.
Thank you for patient listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights.